Hi everyone, Skye here with Sketch with Skye, and thanks so much for joining me tonight while I do Sketch with Skye live, excuse me. Tonight we're going to be working as usual from the 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches book. Tonight we're working on page 17. I did post an image of this sketch in the earlier comments up. So if you just scroll up, you'll find it there in the comments from an earlier post. You can follow along. This is going to be another single page sketch with just 2 photos. So we've done a few of those lately. I just happened to find myself with pages that lend themselves to that. And I think it's a really great way to tell your story or kind of relive the memories that you're trying to capture on your page very simply with just a couple of photos. And it also gives you the opportunity to maybe do a little bit more decorative work than you might do if you had a lot of photos on the page. So I'm looking forward to tonight's sketch. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it too. As always, I'm running about 15 to 20 seconds delayed. So if I am late in responding to your comments, I apologize. And just bear with me while I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my overhead camera so you can see what we're going to be working with tonight. So just a moment. Oh, maybe not. I don't have my camera hooked up, which also means I didn't test to make sure that it was in a good place. So bear with me while we'll hope for the best. Okay. So there we are. Hey, that's not too bad, all things considered. I have a few things in the way here. I'll move out. So, like I said, as always, we're working from this booklet. This is the sketch we'll be doing, the sketch on page 17, a 2-photo sketch, vertical photos. And I think this also kind of speaks to the fact that as we're using our phones, most of our photos are a vertical orientation. So great layout for cell phone photos. We're going to build this border. This border is, I wouldn't say it's tricky, but it is definitely requires some instruction. So I will guide you through that as well. And I'm going to be using the Shabby Chic Rose. This was a promo paper. I want to say it, no, it didn't come from a secret box, but it was a promo pack from let's see if I can find the year on it, 2021. So this is a few years old. It's got some great reds and florals. I'm going to be doing Valentine's Day photos. So I think it'll work perfectly with what I've got. And then I've just pulled some of my vivid melodies and totally tonal reds to go along with this in terms of embellishments. And I actually pulled out some borders and some things that I think will probably work great. So I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. The paper that I'm going to use, I'm going to do tonal reds, and then this pink is going to be the background. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but there are hearts in that print in the background. And then these reds are mostly florals, and then there's a stripe. So those are going to be the papers that I'm going to be using primarily for the layout. Tools, pretty much the run of the mill. We've got the regular and repositional tape runner. I pulled out my foam tape in case I want to pop anything up. I've got my pencil, my eraser, and my journaling pen, my multi-purpose tool, and my fine tip scissors. You definitely need scissors for this layout, guys. This is part of the border that we'll be making, or at least I'm using scissors. You could also use your trimmer, but I think the scissors work better in this case. And then photo trimmer, which is needed. The photos are trimmed down just a little bit to 4 by 5.5. So we're just cutting a little bit off the top or the bottom. And then of course your 12-inch trim. As always, I use 2 side-by-side 13-inch mats to work on. And I always keep this handy. This is my silicone mat. I love to use it for when I'm using my repositional tape runner. It keeps everything nice and clean on my mat. So I'm just gonna set my tools aside for now. And we're gonna, I wanna build this border first. Because it is, I wanna get started on some instructions for you on that. So to build the border, you need some pieces. I made a note here. So you need a base. I've used a scrap piece of white cardstock. I just used the back of a contact sheet from one of my paper packs. This is going to be 2 inches by 12 inches. So that's going to be the base for my border. You're not going to see it, so you can use any piece of paper that you would like. Okay. The second thing you need is 8 assorted pieces of paper that are at least 2 different patterns. I'm using 3, but you can use a minimum of 2 or a maximum of 8. And these pieces are 1.5 inches by 2 inches. Okay, and you need 8 of those. And then you need 8 pieces that are 5/8 of an inch wide by 3 inches long. So on the 5/8 line, for those of you who don't use 8s very often, it's just a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch. So in this case, your 1/2 inch mark is right here. And you're gonna go, there's one little short, which is a 16th, and then the next one is a little bit longer. It's not as long as the 1/8 or the 1/4. It's the middle size line, and that is your 5/8. So this line is 1/2. This line is 5/8. So you need a strip that's 5/8 wide by 3 inches long, and you need 8 of those. So 5/8 by 3, 8. And these should all be the same color. All right. So the first thing to do in building this border is determine the order in which you want your pieces to go in. So once you've got that figured out, then you're just going to go ahead and adhere them side by side on this 2-inch strip of paper. And if it ends up being not quite perfect along the bottom, you can just fix that when you're done. Just do a quick little trim off. So I'm using my regular tape runner, and I'm adhering it down. Hi, Rosemary. It's hard. Yeah, it is hard to see the hearts on that piece of paper, but on camera, but they're very faint. It's a light wash. So thanks for joining from Maryland tonight. I started to watch the O's game myself. They were tied 1-1 when I ended my watch for now. I feel like, oh, I'm good. So this, like I said, these, you can be a very specific pattern, or you can just kind of make it very asymmetrical. So I did mine in order. 8 pieces. Okay. Now this is not hard, but it is, if there were a tricky part to this border, this would be it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 5/8 by 3-inch pieces, and you're going to fold them in half lengthwise. And then from one corner of the fold to the opposite corner of the open end, you're going to cut that. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be a triangle when we're done. So this, I have to admit, I don't love folding paper because I don't love the look of the crease on my paper elements when I'm done. But I think this is so minor, it's not going to bother me a whole lot. So I cut that from one corner to the opposite corner. I'll do another one. Fold that in half. I'm folding from my folded, or I'm cutting from my folded corner to my open corner. And now I have this nice kind of wide triangle. Hi, Roxana. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I pre-cut most of those, so I have a total of 8. And these guys, I'm going to use my repositional tape because they are kind of small. How these are going to work is that these are just going to go along the bottom here. And this is how this page looks like it's moving. They're going to be like that. So now they look like they're at an angle. The pieces look like they're at an angle. So you'll see. This is actually a pretty cool trick. To be honest, I didn't figure it out on my own from the sketch. This sketch was featured on the CM blog. So I looked it up there, and the instructions on how to create these little pieces were on the blog page. And I can put a link to that, those instructions when I post my final piece. So I'm just lining these up so that that center point of the triangle is coming in right at the seam between each of these pieces. And then at the top, you're gonna have to cut one in half, but we'll start by doing the whole ones. And that goes in. I just love the movement that this adds to the page. And it really is not that hard. You got to cut a few little pieces, but it's pretty straightforward. Really, the hardest part is just selecting the papers that you want. And when I say hard, I don't mean hard, but kind of it's a very cool trick. I thought you were gonna have to cut you know what? I thought I was gonna have to cut parallelograms too. As a matter of fact, I kind of did some testing and tried to cut parallelograms. And then I remembered, you know what? I bet you this is a blog post. And sure enough, it was. And so it was not. So I'm going to cut this one in half for the end pieces. Let's see, this is going to go on this side. I don't know if you guys can hear Millie crying. She's shut out of my scrap room, so she's not very happy. Okay, last piece. I'm going to put that just right there. This one's kind of coming up, so I'm going to put a little bit of tape runner there. And there we go. So isn't that cool, guys? It's a lot of fun. And of course, you could make these as many of these as you wanted, and it could go vertical or horizontal. It's fun. Okay, so we've now built our border, and I will include a picture of this piece with the instructions along with it. Okay, so now let's work on our base sheet. So my base is going to be this kind of shabby chic pink. And the next thing I want to do is create my triangle on the top. The other thing I like about this is you'll notice how the triangle on the top is matches these triangles on this border. So it gives you some really nice symmetry on your page without being completely symmetrical. Okay, so I'm gonna cut a piece that's 12 by 2.5, and this is for my top triangle. And I'm gonna set that aside because I'm gonna use it for some matting. And then I'm gonna get out my ruler here. And I actually don't even need my ruler because I have it on my mat. And I'm just gonna mark my center of this piece. So at this 6-inch line, I'm just gonna take a pencil and mark right there. And I'm gonna get out my 12-inch trimmer and I'm gonna create these angles. So I'm gonna start with my corner of my paper at the cut line on my trimmer, and then I'm gonna put my pencil line also on the cut line. So it's going at an angle from one end corner to that center line that I marked at 6-inch. And so I've cut off that triangle. You can use that for something later. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to use my opposite corner to my pencil mark and create that other side. And now I've got my triangle that's going to go on the top of my page. Okay, just like that. And then this is the piece I'm going to use. I'm going to use it for the strip along the bottom. And I'm also going to use it for some matting. So I'm going to cut this at 3 inches. This goes on the bottom here. I can start adhering some things. I'm going to put a dab of 3 position on these corners to make sure they stay down good. It does look like a big envelope. I thought the same thing. And so I kind of, this original sketch was for graduation, and this is supposed to be a graduation cap. But I was thinking of the envelope theme as well, Roxana. Since it's Valentine's, you get cute little Valentines and envelopes, and I don't know, that's where I was going with it. So I gotta grab a tape runner, refill. Invariably, right? I should just keep 2 regular tape runners out so that I can just switch to an alternate tape runner. Okay. Here. So this is going to go down on the bottom. My new baby kitty Finn, who is absolutely adorable. However, let's see if I can show you. He chewed on my paper, so he chewed right here, and he chewed right there. I don't know if you can see that. The bugger. But thankfully, I can arrange it so that it's covered up. And then I'm just going to put this in the center along the bottom here. Actually, I'm going to not quite center. I think I'll leave a little bit more room at the top. So I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch from the bottom is where I'm going to align this border strip, because there's going to be another decorative border that goes along the top there. I was really hoping to use this one, but I feel like perhaps there's not enough contrast. The border is maybe too wide. So we'll see. we'll see about that. I also have this one, which gets lost on this page, but would work up here. So we'll see. I have a bunch of border strip stickers also. Here. All right. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut my mats. So my mats, this is double mat, which I love the look of double matting. So the photos are 4 by 5.5. The next layer mat is gonna be 4.25 by 5.75. I'm gonna use this paper for that. So I think what I'm gonna do is just cut this at, let's see, I can do it at, yeah, I can do it at 4.25. Just want to make sure I have enough paper left. And 5.75, so it's not quite 6. Scrap left, and then the next one is going to be a little bit bigger. This one's going to be 4.5 by 6. So I'm gonna actually, since it's 6, it's gonna be okay. So I'll do this at 4.5. Gives me a nice strip to do something else. 6. Okay. So those are the layers for my photo mats. And I'm just gonna trim these photos down. They need to be 4 by 5.5. So for this one, I think I will trim 1/2 inch off the top. And this one, I'll do 1/4 inch off of each. So now my photos are 4 by 5.5. And I can just start with adhering my matte layers. A nice 1/8 inch edge on that. I like that a lot. You know, now that my daughter is older, we just don't, do a lot of things for Valentine's Day. Like when we were little, she used to make Valentines and she used to get all the Valentines from the kids in her class. And a lot of times they would do like a Valentine box. They would, have a craft that they needed to make a Valentine box. And, we just don't have quite as much of that stuff to do anymore. So I really just had a couple of photos of, our kind of little gift exchange between her and I. And of course, I think in years past, we've, ordered a Valentine pizza or something fun like that. I have a little bit of a pencil line there. Go ahead and erase. Okay, so let's just are centered on there, just like that. I'm going to use this center point as kind of my guide as to where I want these and how far apart, close to the top and bottom. I'll do something like that. So they're about maybe a half an inch apart from one another, and they're about an inch. Well, this one looks a little, doesn't it? I might need to get my level up. Use the bottom to make sure that's straight. This one's come down just a touch. Okay. All right, so now the fun part, right? We get to do some embellishments and maybe a little bit of journaling. The you know, this will solve my problem. Totally missed a piece. This will solve my problem with that border, you guys. I'm just gonna pop these off because there is another piece. I don't know if you guys noticed this on the base of this sketchbook. Between these two layers, there's another piece of paper that goes there. So I want to choose a piece that's going to contrast. I really want to use this border. So I want to make sure that I'm setting it off. And I do kind of like the idea actually of maybe using, do I have that, if I have enough of that polka dot paper, which one was the polka dot? Is dark on the back. Actually, might even have a 1-inch strip of that. Huh, I do. I had this as a scrap from another piece in there. So I think maybe I'll do that. And that does give me enough of a contrast there, I think. What do you guys think? Or should I do the dark side? Go to the dark side. Probably more contrast there. There is definitely more contrast. And maybe I do like that better. What do you guys think? Dark or light? Dark or white or polka dot? So you can see it again. There's the dark. And here's polka dot. Roxana, I like the darker. Yeah, I think I do too. I think it just gives it enough of a contrast, or just a little bit more of a contrast. Okay, so I'm glad I realized that as I was working on putting this together. So I'm going to go ahead and just butt this piece up right next to the strip on the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my border down. So glad it worked out for me to use this border. It was really what I wanted to use, the color. Oh, and what do you know? Another tape runner out. Going through a lot of tape runner today, guys. Not really, I just was low apparently. It gets lost on the lighter one. Yeah, I think it does too. Probably not as much as it does on camera, but it's still, I still think the darker is better. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go ahead and put this guy right there. It's incredible, not really, because CM is really good at doing this, but this pink, it's not pink, it's kind of a dusty pink, and it's the exact same color as this background paper, and they're from two totally different collections from much different years. So I just love how that worked out. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put this back on here. This border is a little wide, so I am actually going to put kind of overlap the photo. And let's see, it shows this right up it perfectly at the line, so maybe I don't have to. Let me get this straight again. All right, and then this one. Fit there. Okay. All right, so now I've got my photos on. I've done a little bit of my embellishing here. We're gonna do an embellishment cluster over here on this side and gonna do a little bit more kind of down in the center. I may kind of rethink how that goes. Because I also need to do a little bit of journaling, and I have this cute little journal box that I could probably even just maybe tuck, might even be able to just tuck it here or kind of do a kitty corner thing, use up some of that space. And then I have, these are just all so super fun, but I do need something for a title. So these embellishments didn't, they did have some titles, but none of them worked for what I was looking for, but I have these stickers that were Vivid Melodies. They're the epoxy stickers. And there's this XOXO and Sweetness and Family. Although this Family, you know, it could be a dark gray. It almost looks a little bit like a dark green. Put it down on that. I guess it looks black on that. But I think I will probably do something like Sweetness. And maybe I'll figure out how I want that. I want to be careful with that and not get it stuck quite down. And I love this. Let's see. Like that. I like pink. I kind of think I kind of want to make sure that it's in the red piece. I might save. Oops. Dropping my bits. There we go. So many fun little pieces. Oh, I like that one because it's definitely got something like maybe this narrow one. A little bit. Something a little bit like that. And maybe put this here. I love this. I can put that. What do you think, guys? Yeah, I think that looks good. You know, I'm kind of struggling a little bit because you know how I feel about the triangle, the decorative triangle. This layout, I do something, I don't know if I put, just feel like I need that this should be a little bit lower, maybe even something like that, or even this to give it a little bit more contrast on there. And then maybe do, I just love this die cut heart. What would it look like if you put the title a little further to the left? So more center, do you think? Like maybe in the center? What do you guys think of that? I think that's better. I think you're onto something there. Do something like that. And then my triangle can be more like that. Think that was a great idea, Rosemary. Did I do kind of what you were thinking with that? Um, Then I could put this bit over here. Maybe something like that. Now I'm feeling a little more triangled. I was thinking even further. So yeah, that looks good too. So yeah. I think I kind of like this balance. It's not quite perfect triangle, but it's close. And I think maybe I'll pop some of these things up too with foam squares. So generally speaking, I think this is about where we're gonna land with the embellishments. I'll just do some journaling, finish up the embellishments, and I'll pop a photo of it and put it on I'll post it on Facebook. Remember that when you do your version of this, that you should post it with this hashtag, which is hashtag 101 sketches page 17. That there's no spaces in between that. On the Creative Memories virtual prop page, there is a ongoing challenge with the sketches from this sketchbook. So be sure and post yours. And at the end of the year, they're going to do some drawings for folks who've done most, if not all, of the sketches. So if you follow along with me, we're going to get at least 50 of them done with throughout this year. So and we might start doubling up a little bit as it gets closer to the end of the year. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just switch back to my regular camera so you guys can see me. All right, I had a lot of fun making this page, you guys. I think it's a monochromatic page. I didn't talk about that much, but I do enjoy making monochromatic pages because it just kind of mixes things up a little bit. And in this case, we're going really from a very pale, kind of dusty pink to, there are elements of this page that are quite of a dark, Merlot or a dark wine red. So that gives you a lot of contrast. And then there's, a few shades of red in between and some patterns that make for an interesting page. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and had fun. And I'd love to see your versions of these pages. So everybody have a great night and let's go Orioles. We're half a game up over the Yankees, so let's keep that up. I got tired of being a half a game behind the Yankees, so I don't know if you guys are following baseball like I do, but it's nice to be leading the league again. We'll see how long it lasts. There's still 3 more weeks left of the regular season. All right, guys, enough of sports. Thanks so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun tonight, and stay tuned for the finished sketch in the on my Facebook page. All right, good night, guys. I'll see you. Sorry. A couple of quick announcements. So I will see you next week, a week from today, which is September 11th, for our regular Wednesday sketch with Skye. For those of you who are local, September 11th, I also have a card class that night. So you'll get a double dose of me, virtual and in person. And then September 12th, gosh, next week is a super busy week. September 12th kicks off the worldwide virtual crop. And so even if you didn't get the secret box, but if you did get the secret box, great. I'm going to be doing a special Thursday edition of Scrap along with the virtual crop. So there's going to be 12 sketches for the worldwide crop. I don't know that we'll get through all 12 of them, but we'll try to do as many as we possibly can. So that's going to be virtual. It's free. Ask me for the link. It's going to start, I think I said we're going to start at 4. I think we'll do 4 to 8. And we might even stay a little bit longer. I have to get up early. We're going away for the weekend the next day. So I probably will sign off about 8. Anyway, I hope to see you next week. And thanks for joining me tonight. And happy scrapping until I see you again. Bye, guys.